Hello, this is Duncan Foley, and we're going to be working through FlexSim tutorial booklet 1 for beginners. We're going to be using FlexSim 2020, so some of the terminology might have slightly changed depending on what version you're using. Where I remember, I'll highlight the differences just in case you're using 2018 and 19. The tutorial starts with a brief introduction to FlexSim and simulation itself, and it acknowledges you can go and find some YouTube links if you want. And then it slowly introduces different key button features. We tend to use the A and S key more than most, and that's about it. So this tutorial, you will learn how to build a simple layout, how to connect ports for routine flow items. So a flow item, remember, it is an object going through your model. So if it's a bottle of Coca-Cola, you're going through the production line, the flow item will be the bottle of Coca-Cola. We're going to look at how to detail enter data into FlexSim and how to navigate in the animation views and how to view simple statistics through FlexSim. After all, that is the reason we're doing this. We want to get all the data out from the model and make decisions and stuff. From a beginner's point of view, this should take between 30 and 45 minutes. I'm hoping to do it a little bit quicker than that. This is a general view of what it would look like if you're doing it on paper based. So we have a source coming here, goes to a queue. It has 3 different testing stations going to 3 conveyors and exiting through a sink. So let's have a quick look at the diagram so we can see what it looks like. So that's a top-down view of it. And we're going to let's have a look. So we're going to create these objects, put them on the scene. We'll connect them up using the A key. Remember that if we make a mistake, so if we accidentally connect the queue to a conveyor instead of the processor 1, we use the Q key to unconnect them. So it's an A key to connect all of these together. So we connect the source to the queue, queue to the processors, process to their individual conveyors, and then to the sink. Then we're going to look at the settings for the source. We're going to use an exponential distribution. So there's our exponential actually it's a normal, we've changed it to normal there. And it's going to have a mean of 20 and a standard deviation of 2. So the distribution is a normal distribution. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create 3 different types of boxes. So that's defined by the number 3 here, then done uniform. And we do that in triggers. So we'll introduce triggers today. And we're going to take 3 different kinds of boxes. So they'll be numbered 1, 2, 3, and there'll be equivalent colors as well. So blue, green, and red, I think they are. And then we'll look at the queue, look at changing the capacity of a queue. Then what we want to do is from the queue, we want to send flow item that is number 1 to processor 1, flow item 2 to processor 2. So we use a feature called by expression. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. And then each processor takes a particular amount of time to do that process. So it defaults to 10, and we're just going to change it to exponential 30. And we'll do that for all 3. We'll reset and run the model. And then we'll have a look at the quick properties window and see what we can find out from that. Okay, so that's a brief introduction to the tutorial. Let's go across and start modeling. So, like I said, we're using FlexSim 2020. We're going to start a new model. I am going to change it to minutes. Everything else I think is fine. I'm going to keep the rest of the defaults for today and say OK. So we've got the cursor, it's a standard arrow, we move it to the side and click on the source and drag it in. Get a queue, so we drag a queue in next to it. Don't worry too much about where you're putting them, as long as it looks something similar. We're going to get a processor and stick it slightly high up. So that's created processor 1. I need 2 more. So there's a shortcut where we hold the F key down and the cursor should change. And I'm going to click where I want my second and third processor. Seem a little bit far apart, so I'll just bring them a bit nearer together. Oops. Okay, and we want 2 conveyors, so we'll go to the conveyor option. Hold down F key. Let's create 2 more conveyors. Just line it up for my own satisfaction, nothing more. And then we need a sync. So we need to join all these up, and it's very, very important that you get directions. So we want a source object to go from the source to go to the queue, then that, so it's left to right. Our model is been created. So hold down the A key, so it changes to this little chain. Click on source, get the yellow elastic band and click on queue. And let go, and you can see very quickly that we've got a direction from source 1 coming out and going to the queue. So that is very important. It is one of the big mistakes a lot of students do. They get it in the wrong direction and wonder why it doesn't work. So if you're ever questioning which direction things are happening in, the easiest way, I'm just going to join these. The easiest way is double click on the object that seems to be the problem and just go to general and just go down to these ports. So this queue has 1 input and it's coming from source. That's correct. And it has 3 outputs, and there they are. If we got one of these in the wrong order, you can re-rank them. But 1, 2, 3 is right. So I'm okay with that. So okay. And let's join the processor to the conveyor to the sync. And there we go. Oh, that didn't work. Right, what I want to do now is just show you something. If you look at the conveyor, this conveyor, they tend to default to not having their name shown. Let's see if we can get it showing. It should show name, whereas it's very small font there. It does say conveyor 2. But if you look at this little square, it's where another conveyor can snap onto it. It's actually called entry transfer 2. So if I just click on there, on this processor, go to the general tab. The input port is the queue, that's okay, but the output port is entry transfer 2. So it's connected to this little connection point here, not the conveyor. That's new for 2020 and I think 2019. But if it was version 2018, that might say conveyor 2. Okay, let's zoom out using the wheel. Right, so our model seems to be built okay. I'm going to now start setting some of the properties up. So you double click on an object, and we've got the source. It's going to create a box. It's currently set as objects are going to come from the source exponentially 10 minutes frequency. So our tutorial wants us to change that. So click on the drop down, statistical distribution, and we want normal. And we want 20. So we get the graph should update a little bit, so you can see it's gone down to 20. And I think a standard deviation of 2 is what we want. What the stream is, it's a way the computer tries and generates random numbers and stuff. On older versions, and you might be asked to type in the number 0. I mean, it's fine to do that here. I tend to leave it. It doesn't really do that much difference, especially in the models we're going to be creating. If you're going to create a massive model, then you might want to change this number yourself on different objects to create a little bit more randomness. So let's click on down there and click on apply. So now what we want to do is, this is currently going to create one box at the distribution, a normal distribution of 20. What we'd like it to do is create 3 different types of boxes. So on triggers, this is a list of things that can trigger an event. So when an object is created or when an object exits the source and so forth, we're going to be using some of these, creation, exit, message, quite a lot. So let's do on creation. So when a box is created, do something. We get the option to click on here, and we want to do a set color by case. Actually, no, we don't. We want to set label and color. The set label and color, if you're using an old version of FlexSim, that might say set item type and color. What it's going to do is it's going to, if we ran the model now, in fact, I'll do that just to show you without doing that. So let's just cancel that, reset run. Let's wait until the box appears. And come on. Okay, there's one. Oh, went before I got it. There we go. So we've got a box there, and we've got labels related to the box on the right hand side. We've got the color of the box, the 3D model of the box, the name, it's called box, but the labels, we've got no labels. Okay. So what we're going to do is in source, triggers, on creation, data, set a label and a color. So the label is going to be, when we add label and we've got no labels, it's going to be called type, and it's going to generate 3. If I change that number 3 to 4 or 5, it'll be different number of boxes, types of boxes. So we'll have that. What it's written there is absolutely fine. We're going to create 3 boxes. It's going to be in a random order defined by duniform, and they're going to be have a label called type, and the type is going to be either 1, 2, or 3, and it's going to be a different color. The reason we do this, when we get a label, we can do something with that. We can read that label and make decisions on that. So I'm going to click on apply and say OK. Let's go to the queue. This queue has a capacity of 1000. Let's just change that to 25. And let's move to floor. So this is how objects are going to floor from the queue to the next object. And we've got 3 different objects here. And it's currently set to first available. So if I ran this model now, reset, always press reset before you press run. Get into that sort of habit. What will happen is an object will come to the queue. The first available is port 1, and that is processor 1. So if I click on that object, it's a red box now. Moving to the side, it's got a label now called type, and it's a type number 1. Carry on running. So hopefully another box will appear soon. That's another red one. We want something different. Come on. There we go. That looks like blue. So I click on that. That's blue. And it's got a label called type, and it's the number 3. Let's see if we can find another one. Is that green? Looks green, I think. Yeah, it's green. What's happening? I can't see. Have I clicked off? I've clicked off it, sorry. Confusing. It's green box and it's a type 2. So with creating on creation here in the source, through triggers, this piece of code here has created 3 different types of boxes, labels, and 3 different colors. Now what we're going to do is instead of sending objects to the first available, I'd like item type 1 to go to processor 1, 2 to 2, processor 2, and 3 to 3. So that wouldn't work by availability. If we click on by expression, what this does is it says go and take the item type, and they're looking for a label, and this is called type. It's defaulted because it's found out that we've got objects with a label called type, and sent them to the port appropriate to the type number. So if type is 1, we'll go to output port 1, 2, and so forth. Okay, so let's reset and run again, and hopefully we'll get some boxes coming through shortly. There's a red box. That's item type 1, and it's on processor 1, but that'd be kind of nice to see something go to another box, another processor. That's item type 1. See, getting 3 red boxes, and there's a blue box. So click on there. That's item type 3 going to processor 3. See if we can see a green. There we go. And item type 2 goes to 2. So that's basically done within the queue, within the flow tab, and we're saying by expression. Right, reset. Double click on processor. And each of these processes is some sort of process happening to that box. So it might be it's getting spray painted, or it's getting some machinery done on it. So it's getting some CNC machining. Currently it's set to take exactly 10 minutes. We need to change that. We're going to change it to exponential. So statistical distribution, exponential, and we need to change it to 30. I'm going to leave the stream to the same rather than changing it to 0, and click away. So now we've got the expression for the amount of time it takes. So it's not exactly 30 minutes. There's a little bit of change. So 30 minutes is here. So it normally will take a little bit more, but some may take less. Some will take more, up to 100 and 130, but a lot will take less than 30. Now we've got the expression there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that, copy. We can use the bottom right, these buttons down the corner here. We're in processor 1, so if I click on that, it'll go to the next processor in the scene, and I can copy that in there. Saves me a little bit of time. Click again, I go to processor 3, and I can paste that in there, and it's okay. If we reset again, run the model, and to speed it up a little bit more. What we can do now is I'm just going to turn the model around a little bit sideways, zoom up a little. And we can click on these objects and look at some of the data, so we can see the amount of objects that are currently in there, the maximum number. If that's a little bit small, you can look down the right hand side for quick properties of whatever you selected, so you can see the throughput, how many objects has gone through that queue is up to 51. You can see how long objects stayed there. So some are going straight through, which you would expect for the first one. It's just basically going to the queue and bouncing straight off. But the averages are 18, and the maximum weight can be up to 89. One quick way you can see this information, if it's important, is if you click on the pin, and you might be interested in looking at how long objects stay there versus time. So let's just click on that, and we get something called the dashboard, and you can see the as the model progresses. Let's just stop, reset, and run that now. Run it a bit faster so we can get some data. So you can see as we go that sometimes objects are staying quite a long time in there, because you can see it's building up. I'll just stop this. Just double click on there. State time, and you can obviously edit the graph and stuff. And the end goal is to have your dashboard with all the data that you need to analyze your FlexSim model. Okay, save your work, because we're going to carry on with this model in Booklet 2. I'm just going to close the dashboard because we don't need that for Booklet 2. But that ends the tutorial for Booklet 1. Thank you very much.